In this video, I'm going to be talking about the book of Daniel, and we're going to start with Daniel chapter 1, verse 1. We get right into the scriptures. Now, in Daniel chapter 1, starting at verse 1, it's telling you very plainly and clearly that it was 3 years. Okay? I'm going to turn there and I'm going to read. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, it's actually Yahuiakim, but Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. Now, I had people try to tell me, oh, he done that a bunch of times. Yes, he did, but how many times did he do it during the reign of Jehoiakim? And how many times did he come and take Jehoiakim out along with the vessels of the house of God? How many times did he do that? Okay? So Daniel chapter 1, starting at verse 1, is telling you that it was in the 3rd year that King Nebuchadnezzar came. Alright? And he besieged Jerusalem. And verse 2 says, and the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand. Into his hand. Just like I got this pen in my hand, wherever my hand go, this pen go with it. So I'm taking this pen. That's what he did according to the book of Daniel. He is taking Jehoiakim with part of the vessels, I'm in verse 2, of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God or his power. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. Okay? Now, already there's a problem because the book of Daniel is lying. Because if you go to 2 Chronicles chapter 36 verses 5 through 7 and 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 36, it says that Jehoiakim reigned 11 years. Then the king of Babylon came and took him and the vessels out to Babylon. Let me turn to 2 Chronicles. Let me turn there. All right. 2 Chronicles 36. I'm gonna read it word for word. And I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah his power. Against him came up, see that? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, after the 11 years, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried of the vessels of the house of Yahuwah to Babylon. See that? And put them in his temple at Babylon. Same thing the book of Daniel says. Only Daniel is telling you that Jehoiakim reigned 3 years, and then King Nebuchadnezzar comes and takes him to Babylon. I just read you 2 Chronicles chapter 36 verses 5 through 7. Does anybody see a problem here? All right. Now we're going to go to 2 Kings. We're going to get line upon line, precept upon precept. We're going to back up even more scripture to show that the book of Daniel is a bunch of BS. All right. Now we're in 2 Kings chapter 23, and I'm going to start at verse 36. It says, Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Rumah, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah according to all that his fathers had done. Now we're going to go to chapter 24, starting at verse 1. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. You see that? Then he turned and rebelled against him. And Yahuwah sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, bands of the Moabites, bands of the children of Ammon, sent them against Yahudah to destroy it, according to the word of Yahuwah which he spake by his servants the prophets. Surely at the command of Yahuwah came this upon Yahudah to remove them out of his sight. So that was it. Verse 6. So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers. Okay, you see that? So now they'll say, well, Nebuchadnezzar came during the 11-year reign. That's when Nebuchadnezzar came. But the book of Daniel don't tell you that, does it? Okay, so now, since we see, according to 2 Kings chapter 24, verse 1, just look at the chart here, he served the king of Babylon, Jehoiakim, for 3 years. He served the king of Babylon. So even if he came during the 11 years and made him serve the king of Babylon for 3 years, after that, because remember, it says in the 3rd year, in the book of Daniel, so we're going from the 3rd year, we're going to add 3 more years from the 3rd year. Okay, that's going to give you a total of 6 years, not 11. Okay, this is simple addition here, and I'm pretty sure y'all know how to count. So we got 6 years, we don't have 11 years, where are the other 5 years? See, the book of Daniel is telling you in the 3rd year, the king of Babylon came. Y'all want to say he served 3 years. Well, we got scripture for that, but it don't mean it's 11 years. You got 3 years here, plus 3 years here. That only gives you 6 years. Where's the other 5 years? See, this is what the book of Daniel is doing. The book of Daniel is lying, starting you out with a lie. All right? Now, we're going to go into some more scripture. Okay? Well, yeah, I already went over 2 Chronicles. Okay? Now, Jehoiakim had to reign at least 8 years of the 11 years, then served the king of Babylon for 3 years, as it says in 2 Kings chapter 24, verse 1. Then he is taken to Babylon and killed. You can go to Jeremiah 22, 18 and 19 for that. In fact, let me turn there. I'm going to go to Jeremiah 22 and 18 and 19. I'm going to try to make it quick. Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 18 says, Therefore thus saith Yahuwah concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yahudah, they shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, my brother, or Ah, sister. They shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, Lord, or Ah, his glory. He shall be buried with the burial of an ass. See that? Drawn and cast forth beyond the gates of Jerusalem. So he was taken out of Jerusalem and he died somewhere out of Jerusalem. Probably in Babylon where King Nebuchadnezzar took him. So he did not come back and finish that 11-year reign that the book of Daniel does not tell you about. You see there? So we know what happened to Jehoiakim after he left Jerusalem. When the King Nebuchadnezzar took him out, he didn't come back. So, according to Daniel, he served 3 years. Then he served the king of Babylon for 3 years. Then he was taken out, okay, and killed. Now we're going to go to Daniel chapter 1, verse 6. And it said, and it's here. This right here is what I got for Daniel chapter 1, verse 6. You're gonna put that up against Ezra chapter 2, verses 1 through 70. Now, I know that's a lot of verses right there, but you're gonna notice that in here, Daniel is not mentioned anywhere. Daniel is not in Ezra chapter 2, verses 1 through 70, and Daniel 1 and 6. You're gonna see why he should be in there, but he's not. Now, Daniel 1 and 6. Let me go back to Daniel. And notice how they put the book of Daniel after the book of Ezekiel. They strategically places it in somewhere to make you think he a prophet and like what he's saying is some kind of future prediction. But the book of Daniel was actually written after the fact, after everything that it is talking about already took place, which I'm going to try to get to that in this video if I have time. But in Daniel chapter 1, now we're going down to verse 6. It says, Now among these were of the children of Judah, or the children of Yahudah, Daniel. That's the first name you see. So The book of Daniel is telling you that he is of the children of Judah. All right? So that would mean he would be in the registry of the children of Judah that was taken out of Jerusalem to Babylon, right? Okay, so then why come when you turn to Ezra, because that's the book in which in the same time of Daniel, right? You go to Ezra, you don't see Daniel nowhere in there. Okay, and Ezra gives you a very accurate account, the registry. It says in Ezra chapter 2, starting at verse 1, now these are the children of the providence that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. Now, I had talked to somebody on Facebook about that, and they tried to tell me, well, that's because Daniel died in Babylon, so he didn't come back. Well, he still should have been among those that went into Babylon, but of course he is not mentioned. And if you're going to say that he died during the time in Babylon, well, I got scripture to prove that's a lie too. So we already see that Daniel is lying. The book of Daniel is lying again, telling you he's of Judah, but yet he's not even listed among the registry of the children of Judah that was taken out of Jerusalem and brought to Babylon. Daniel is not in there nowhere. All right. And then if you want to try to use the Daniel that's mentioned in Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 38, I'll turn there right quick. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 38, and it says, and because of all this we make a sure covenant and write it, and our princes, Levites and priests, seal unto it. So these are Levites and priests, all right? Now you go to Nehemiah chapter 10, follow on down. Now those that sealed were Nehemiah, the Tirshatha, the son of Hakaliah, if I'm saying that right, and Zidkiah, and you reached a bunch of names here. But you're going to see in verse 6, it's going to say Daniel. And so now somebody might try to say, oh, there go Daniel right there. But this Daniel is a Levite. Okay, we see that. And when it says in Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 38, that these are Levites, the Levite priest. So this is not the same Daniel. In fact, this might be where they got the name Daniel from, because there was a Daniel back then. But this Daniel is a Levite priest. Okay, we see that. Now, you want to go to Ezra chapter 8, verse 2, because they might try to say that that's the Daniel that it's talking about. That's the Daniel of Judah right there in Ezra chapter 8, verse 2. But I'm sorry, that's not it either. In Ezra chapter 8, verse 2, it says, of the sons of Phinehas, Gershom. Of the sons of Ithamar, Daniel. So this Daniel is a son of Ithamar. Now, why is that important? Because Ithamar is a son of Aaron. Ithamar, son of Aaron. And we all know who Aaron was, right? Aaron was a Levite priest. So Aaron being a Levite, Ithamar coming from Aaron being a Levite, all right? And then you got Daniel coming from Ithamar. So you got Ithamar, and then you got Daniel coming from Ithamar. So this Daniel is the same Daniel that's a Levite, not of Judah. So you can't try to use that Daniel as the Daniel of the book of Daniel, because the Daniel of the book of Daniel is supposed to be of the tribe of Yahudah, all right? Now, when you read Daniel 6 and 28, you want to verse that. You want to put that up against Ezra chapter 4, verse 4 and 5. Daniel 6 and 28 Let me go there. Daniel chapter 6, verse 28. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So this Daniel was still alive and he was reigning during the time of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus. We just read scripture for that. Okay, now when you go to Ezra chapter 4, verse 4 and 5, why is Daniel not there? All right, let me go there. Ezra 4, 4 and 5. Let me go there. It says, starting in verse 4, Ezra chapter 4, verse 4, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah or Yahudah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now we just read in Daniel chapter 6, verse 28, where Daniel is prospering in the reign of Cyrus and in the reign of Darius. So why is he not in Jerusalem? Because we see he alive, right? But they're going to try to tell you, well, he was dead. No, he wasn't. He was alive during that time. If he is of the tribe of Judah, which clearly the book of Daniel is telling you he is, why is he not in Judah, in Jerusalem, helping our people build a temple? What he doing still over there up in Babylon land, playing around with Cyrus and Darius for, when he's supposed to be helping us? That's why I say, why was Daniel not in Jerusalem helping them? See, the book of Daniel is a bunch of bull crap, y'all. I can see it. Now you might not can see it, but I can see it. But as these videos go on, I'm gonna show you some more. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video short, and I'm gonna make another video, and I'm gonna finish talking about this book of Daniel.